25 just to walk on. I don't talk to these niggas, cause a lot of these niggas be corny. I'm feeling horny. And I
Man, I just love watching that countdown timer. What's up, everybody? It is Monday. Get your mind right Monday. Just to let you guys know, I'm Trey Griggs, CEO and founder of Beta Consulting Group. And this is Standing Out, episode 79. This is a podcast daily about sales, marketing, and leadership. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you being here. And it's Monday, so just keep in mind that every Monday morning, 6 a.m., we have an episode of Iron Minds with my good friend Hayden Allred. We get in a workout. Today I got in some yoga because I needed the stretching, and it was solid. And we talked about humility in leadership. And so if you want to get your week started off right, join us every Monday morning, 6 a.m. right here on LinkedIn Live, 6 a.m. Central, that is, for an episode of Iron Minds. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. We'd love to have you join us, forming a little community over there of guys and gals that are wanting to get their week started off right. All right, a couple things. First of all, if you would do me a favor, go check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. See how we're helping companies with their branding, their messaging, their content creation, everything and anything to help them stand out in a crowded market space. We'd love to work with you. So check us out over there at betaconsultinggroup.com. Coleman, what's up, brother? Showing up this morning. Appreciate it. And we do have a killer show today, my friend. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But before we do that, a quick shout out to our sponsors, TAFs. These are the good guys in freight factoring. They're helping educate carriers on all the resources that they need to make sure that they have everything to keep moving on the road, understand how to have cash flow and all kinds of great stuff, including fuel discounts, tire discounts, all that. And they're really all about educating the carriers. And I love that as a former teacher. So check them out at TAS.com, or even better, if you got a truck, if you're an owner operator, if you've got several trucks out there, click on the link that Morgan just put in the comments, goes directly to my landing page so that they know that I sent you. So we appreciate that. And Denise, thank you. Yeah, I love the intro. My guy's just killing it. Our creative director, he's phenomenal. And he put that together. It's just so awesome. So I'm glad you like it too. I love it as well. All right, we've got a great week of shows this week, another solid lineup. Can't wait to talk to all these guests this week. Today, my good friend, the strongest man in logistics, Robert Bain, come on here shortly. Tomorrow, Cameron Robertson, phenomenal CEO of 3PL Systems, who worked his way from the very bottom all the way up to CEO, and we're going to talk more about his story. On Wednesday, my good friend Adam Wingfield, who's all about educating carriers and shippers to understand the dynamics of the marketplace that they're in. On Thursday, the inspiration for this show, and a good friend of mine, Dan Deacon, who has his daily show as well, is going to be on. We're going to be talking about high performance sales and content creation, all the good stuff. And then on Friday, can't wait to have a conversation with my friend Nate Schutz. Guy's super smart, great content, logistics expert, and that's just going to be a phenomenal week. So every day, 10:30 a.m. Central, make sure you show up for an episode of Standing Out. We're going to have a great time. But it is time, folks, to bring on today's guest, a good friend of mine. He's been around for quite a while in terms of my neighborhood, my friends, and he's made a huge impact on my life. He's an original member of the Street Crew, the Word on the Street show every Friday. He's an original member of that, and he's just an all-around good guy. And as we said earlier, he is, without a doubt, the strongest man in logistics. Everybody give it up for my good friend, Robert Beefcake Bain. Where's he at? There he is. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I was waiting for the theme song, waiting for the walk-up music.
Oh, you know what? Let's do this again. Yes, we can do this again. This is no problem at all because this guy's got good. We got to do the walk-up music. Everybody, give it up for my good friend Robert Beefcake Bain.
Yeah. I said I feel invisible. It's 100 niggas in the spot.
Every time, man.
That song.
Every time.
On the back. You know, it's funny how some music can do. Music has a power, man, to do that. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's certain words, certain phrases. It's funny. We talk about this at the gym quite a bit. I'm just gonna dive right into everything.
Dive right in, man.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Who you are.
Oh yeah. We'll do the intro here in a second, but yeah, like we were talking about this at the gym. Is there certain things, certain like either turns of phrase, music, whatever, like it just you know when it's time to flip the switch. And part of it, like we figured out, is like a bit of a Pavlovian response, because like you hear it so often that now like that's when you know it's time to go. It's like we have like certain songs for training. Like we always start every training set, no matter what, every Sunday starts with Welcome to the Jungle.
Nice.
And that's
classic.
Well, no, it's
Classic.
not. It's not the old one. It's the new one by Ex Ambassadors. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out. I think
absolutely
I've heard that
need
one.
you. It's
All
really
right.
good. And there's a remix with Jay-Z for the 2014 World Cup.
Oh,
super
that's
dope.
fire. That's
super
good.
dope. Yeah.
Although the original wouldn't be bad though. It's pretty intense as well. It's not bad.
It's solid.
But yeah, I'll have to check the new one out.
Yeah, multiplies a different animal, so it's definitely going into the jungle. So
all right, real quick. So first of all, Denise, just so you know, Beefcake. We call him Beefcake because he's a big boy and he looks good. And some people want to take a bite of him. I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying that there might be some people. That's where the Beefcake.
To be fair, Denise and I have met, so Denise has seen me in person. Denise is actually dope. She runs.
But she doesn't know Beefcake. Oh, Denise.
I don't necessarily tell everybody
that. Other side. I know. Yeah, well, you know. So. There you go, Denise. That's what you get for that.
She's a good one. I'll introduce you to. Trey. You should have her on here.
Please, yes. I'm always up for great introductions with great people. It's all about building the network. And Jennifer Carpus-Romaine, Executive Director of TMSA, in the house today. What's up, Jennifer? Great to have you on the show. She's become a part of the Street Crew as well.
She has.
A regular. Great contributions on that. Had a great meeting last week with Josh Breeze from Freight Vana. If you guys didn't catch that show, go back and check it on demand on YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn Live.
Anxiously waiting my Land O'Lakes butter delivery.
Yes, that's the clip we put out. It was awesome. I love it.
Oh, my friends thought that was hysterical. They thought that was great.
No, that was a great show. We've had a lot of good time with that, so it's been a lot of fun. But all right, so for those who don't know who you are, which everybody so far here does, but a lot of people might not know who you are. Give a little intro to who Robert MF Bain really is.
Well, first of all, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. I'll
give you a little background music while you do it.
Yeah. I am. So my name is Robert Bain. I'm with a company called Metaphora. We are a business consultancy firm based. We are remote, but basically based in Chicago. My focus around the industry has been around operations, sales, a lot of customer facing stuff. Both the asset and non-asset side. I've been around the space for about 15 years, and I'm super passionate about logistics and about teams and growing new leaders across the industry, and really, really excited about obviously being hooked up with Trey. I just love how loud this gets in my headphones. It's like so loud in my headphones. Right.
I had to bring it back in because I mean it's your song, man.
It is. That's my jam, man. And that's So for those who don't know, my daughter actually turned me on to Pop Smoke. I'm not necessarily always hip to the new rappers, but for whatever reason, that song just gets me going. And I listen to it before every attempt recently whenever I compete. So
I love it.
It gets me going.
Power music, right? It's power music.
It is.
And Jennifer, but did you see what she said? She had to go to the grocery store after last week's Word on the Street. She had to buy butter. So
there you go.
Subconsciously put that in her head. I'm pretty sure she either went Land O'Lakes because she's like against you, or she's like no more Land O'Lakes. F them.
Telling you, Kerrygold. If you haven't tried it, Kerrygold's garlic and herb butter.
Kerrygold is solid. Yeah.
So good.
Give you that. Yeah. So good. All right. Well, we should probably stop talking about food. Yeah. And let's talk about you and what you've been up to. So recently you had the world, I think it's the world or the nationals. You had nationals.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was in Chicago, which I missed. I was so bummed about that, but you had that in Chicago, and you went after some numbers that are just ridiculous. First of all, for those that don't know exactly what you do, talk a little bit about the powerlifting, the different events, 3 events that you do, and talk about what you did at nationals, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. So powerlifting consists of three lifts. Used to be called the odd lifts. It's a great history around that that I can go into on a different podcast. But it's the squat, bench, and the deadlift in that order. The way competition works.
Bench press and deadlift. Do it really fast. There's squat, bench press, deadlift.
Yes.
And what's the name of your podcast, just in case people don't know about it?
Strength and Anger.
Strength and Anger, everybody.
Yes.
Look it up where you get podcasts. Subscribe to it.
Yes, only 2 emotions I have: strength and anger.
All right, so squat, bench, and
deadlift.
Yeah.
Yep, in that order, and you're given 3 attempts at each one of those lists. Once you place your attempt with the scorer's table, you cannot lower the attempt, and then you have to complete successfully at least one of each of your attempts.
So if you say I'm going to go for 950, then once you put that table, you got to go for it. You can't go for 925.
Correct. You cannot, like, especially if you miss it, you
Can't
cannot lower the weight. You
Can't
know,
lower. You
yeah,
gotta try that.
you
Okay.
can stay, you can run it back, but you always have to go up or stay.
Got it.
If you do not successfully complete one of your 3 attempts, you do what's called a bomb, and you're done for the day. So you do have to complete one of those attempts successfully. There are 3 judges, front and each side. Long as it's a simple majority, they'll give you a white or a red light. If you receive 2 white lights, your lift is good, and you move on. So all you need is 2 white lights, and your life continues. So
nice. Okay, so let's talk about nationals.
yeah, so Nats went there and had some big numbers in mind. I've been chasing some big numbers for a while, specifically the 1,000-pound squat. I was doing some quick research, and I can get to the exact number, but from a competition perspective, if you look on openpowerlifting.org, which is like our repository for records and numbers and competitions, only 300 or so people have ever successfully completed a 1,000-pound squat in competition.
What's the actual record? What's the world record for squat?
Biggest squat of all time is 1306 by Brian Carroll. Biggest squat in a full power meet where someone actually was going for real numbers and not just getting the one lift they wanted and taking token attempts is 1273 by Mr. Dave Hoff. I was actually present for that lift. I was there spotting. Yep. So that's the other thing I do is I spot some of the biggest lifts in the world, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so I opened at 891, successful lift. To my second squat, it was 964. That was an 11-pound meet PR. Got that. And I don't believe I could have gotten any closer to hitting my 1014. Everything was spot on. Just there was a little bit of bobble in the downward motion, and so I got called for what they call a double recovery. It's a very technical rule that unfortunately they did have to enforce. And so 1014 did not happen. Though if you watch the video, I handled it successfully. I mean, my CNS, my central nervous system, was certainly ready for it. So ended with a 964. A 585 bench press and a 629 deadlift for a 2177 total.
I swear you told me this like 10 times, but every time I hear these numbers, I just keep thinking to myself, that's unbelievable. That's amazing how you do that. You know,
for our friends across the pond, in case Nick Rumor has been watching, that was a 987.5 kilo total because we had to do everything in kilos officially. So it was
nice.
pretty good day.
Yeah,
it was a good day.
It's tremendous. What is the feeling like when you go after, that 1,000, obviously, and you've said this before, like you got to get it right. You're not going to get it on a technicality. You got to nail that one. So you're cool with that. But what's that feeling?
I mean, as cool as I can be.
It?
Like I really want that damn lift.
Totally. but what's that feeling when you do something like that? Even when you miss the 1,000, like actually getting it official, but just walking away from that, going, yeah, I can do this. I just did that, or I know I can do that. I've proved myself I can do that. What's that feeling like?
I mean, it's a very unique feeling. Skills of misspent youth. I've certainly had a lot of different highs in my life, but I'll tell you what, it is a high that is very difficult to describe. It's cheating death. That's really what it comes down to, and that's when I explain to people like why I enjoyed so much. Because yes, it's a very body violent sport, and it's done things to my body, and I've had to have surgeries and that kind of stuff, and I deal with chronic pain and whatnot. But I do it because I'm doing something that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, only a few hundred people on the planet can do at the level I do it. And when you look at just the breadth of human existence, it's still a very, very tiny number of people that are able to do these things. And so I love that. And so that's just a very awesome high that I get to experience essentially on a weekly basis, whether it is I'm going for a full gear max out squat, or like yesterday when I was doing still some raw training, but still at the end of the day, these are numbers that most regular people just can't wrap their head around. And
no, I can't.
Like
these elevator weight limit numbers, I feel like I'm
yeah. But at the end of the day, like what the coolest thing about it, if I ever had to describe it to anybody, is and you and I've talked about this, right? My children get to see me in the pursuit of something bigger than my paycheck every couple of weeks, or just a promotion at work. Like they see me in the pursuit of something that I deem valuable, that essentially I don't get paid for.
Yeah.
And I do it because of the worthiness of that pursuit. And I think that's an important lesson that my children and that most people need to have. And so that's the other reason why I do it, is because I believe that there is a song inside me and I don't want to die with it still there.
There is a song inside you. There always is. But the thing about what you're doing, and I agree with you that there's things to be learned for your kids.
Speaking of the song inside me.
keeps coming out straight. No, but there's things to learn that are, for our kids to learn by seeing this. I think too often we give up on our dreams and our passions for a career, for making money, especially as men, to be providers. But all across the board, I think that we give up the things we truly love in life for the things that we feel that we have to do in life, not realizing that there could actually be a balance, that there could be your job could be your passion. Some people definitely turn their passion into their work and find a way to make money for it, which is cool. But then on the flip side of it, like you've got your day job and you're working really hard on that. And we'll talk about that later on. But then you also have this passion that you have, that you're chasing or going after, and the lessons that our kids can learn from that, from seeing us say, hey, you know what, this is important to me. For me, it's golf, playing competitive golf, putting myself in the ringer and, getting beat up a little bit, but like, trying to hit a shot that matters and going to practice. And that's my thing.
And it's doing the hard things. And that's another thing that my kids get to see is like, everybody loves game day. Everybody loves seeing when you go to a meet or you go to a match, and, whether it's match play, skins game, like everyone loves that part. You know what no one loves? No one loves accessory day. No one loves dynamic effort lower day where it's just, 250 pounds of band tension and a bunch of weight. And like, it's just fast and you throw up and it sucks. No one likes that crap, but that's the stuff that makes you exceptional. Right. Yeah. And it's those little things and those tiny decisions, and it's just 1% every day, just 1%.
It's like back when I was running cross country in high school, and like the meets were fun because it's competitive, right? You go to the meet and you get to run 3 miles. You go as fast as you can. It's one race, and you get out of the way. What people don't like is the 7 miles, the 6 miles, the 5 miles during the week leading up to that.
No one likes sled drags for 30 minutes. No one likes that crap.
Exactly. Sucks. But that's the part that's actually, I think, the most enjoyable. I mean, think about it, when you look back on these, the events are like when you get to show everybody what you can do. But think about all the times that you showed up, you did your lifts, you did it with other people, building community, building relationships, and steadily getting better. That, I heard Kobe say it. That's actually the dream. That's what Kobe Bryant said. That's the dream. Not the destination, but the actual journey, and I've also heard that if you love the journey, you're going to go further than somebody who loves the destination.
And when you talk about Kobe too, what's really funny is when people talk about him, and we've talked about like our connection to Kobe Bryant. I think, that tragedy that happened a few years ago, I think really crystallized a lot of things about him for people. You don't hear, for the most part, about what he did during games. That's not where the legend of Kobe comes from.
Yeah.
It's absolutely everything outside of that. It's, I think it was Jay Williams was talking about how like Kobe was already in the gym sweating, and he's like, I was just there so you knew you would never beat me. Yeah.
Like, no matter how hard you worked, I was willing to work harder.
Exactly. Like that's, that's the stuff that I love, man. There's a guy that I'm running down right now. He's a training partner of mine. He's a great friend. He's a mentor and a father figure. And Steve Brock and I go toe to toe every single week. And this is a guy who's 5'6", 5'7". He's about 320 pounds. He's an 1,100 pound squatter. He's a bad man though, man. This dude snapped his humerus 4 years ago. So your humerus is this bone here. So bone. Not these two. Right. This one, he snapped it. Bench pressing 800 pounds. Came back and has benched 800 since then. That's a bad man right there.
That is crazy. And just to even try it again, knowing what happened and what caused that.
Right.
That's
the first time he had 500 pounds in his hand, he almost had a panic attack. But here's the thing, and the reason I mention that is because you have these people that you get around, and like, my gosh, there is just something special and unique about a person like that to have in your life.
Yeah.
Or like people like you, or people like Chris Jolly, or like, I was talking to Bernard Suga earlier today, like having those incredible people around you that just push and drive, and they just don't ever stop.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
It changes your mindset. It changes everything about it. Cause there's people out there that are there for you, but they're all just showing you the way to do it. Yep. And it's like, it's weird. I've noticed we got a lot more Kobe content now than we probably ever had, which is kind of interesting. Like he did a lot of interviews, and I don't remember seeing all this content when he was alive, but now he's gone. Man, it's all the time, and I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of it, and I love it. And it reminds me of Michael Jordan, who, when he was filming Space Jam, had an entire workout facility and basketball court built on site so he could get his work in, his lifts, his workouts, his basketball training, whatever. Got it all in. Larry Bird, who used to run around the garden on game days, just run for hours on game days just to get his endurance ready for the game. Like, you just, these people, there's no guessing as to why they were great. Yeah. It's clear why they were great.
So there's levels to it, man. There's levels to it. Interesting. Interesting documentary in that same vein. I watched the greatest mixtape of all time. It's on ESPN Plus. Remember
Okay.
the And One mixtape tour?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it talks about the origin of that. Talked about Skip to My Lou and Ray for Alston, and his like how he kind of pushed that to the public lexicon, just through his play. Like he was a playground legend as a teenager. But then talk about NBA players, talk about the difference in those street ballers who, from an individual skill perspective, probably better than most NBA players. But
Oh,
every
Harlem
NBA player that
Globetrotter
was
skill
asked,
sets. Yeah.
yeah, but every NBA player that was asked, like, could these guys play in the league? I mean, like the snickering is comical. Like,
Oh
no,
yeah. Yeah. No
not
chance. No
because they
chance.
don't do those little things. They don't do those extra things. They don't do the stuff
Right.
that no one wants to do because all they're doing is playing. All they're doing is entertaining, and it's great and it has its place. But it is a super interesting way of looking at the differences. It's highly recommended.
It's like a golf trick shot artist. You see these guys that can hit golf balls out of the air and these different ways of doing it. But can they play on tour? No, they're never going to make it on tour. But they've got a skill and it's entertaining.
Absolutely.
But just when you see the people that are truly great in their sport or their business or whatever they're doing, they're putting in that little work. And man, it pushes me every day. Like, am I using the time that I have wisely? Obviously within balance, I got family, I got other responsibilities and things that are important to me. But am I using that time to get better a little bit every day in what I'm doing? Am I becoming a better marketer and brander and brand ambassador and speaker and all these different things? Am I getting better? And that's the journey. That's the process, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It is.
it's great. So let's talk about the mindset of extreme sports. I had my good friend Joshua Harrison on here, and Joshua Harrison, he went after a 100-miler running to work. Kudos to him. I think he ran 78. If I got that right,
crazy.
78 miles.
It's wild.
That's nuts. But he talks a lot about the euphoria that comes with it and the clearing of the mind whenever he runs long distances. And I've had other people that have crazy stories like that. The David Goggins stories, of course, are just like getting out of your own way in many ways. What's the how is the extreme sports mindset for you in powerlifting? Like, talk about that a little bit and how that's actually impacted your entire life.
Sure. There's a time when you step into the bar where you are afraid. You can't not be afraid. But at the same time, you do have to there's a process of clearing your mind, which is great because that's when you learn to do that on command. When you just, I think there was a baseball movie a while back where the term was clear the mechanism. And I think it might have been Bull Run or something like that, but that's what they talk about, is clear the mechanism. That's what kind of we do is there's a moment where just everything goes blank. And you can feel your heartbeat. You can sense your breathing. Like it's just silence except for the things that you let in. So like in my case, I hear my coach's name is Sean. I hear Sean's voice and I hear the head judge. And as soon as that head judge says squat, I don't hear anything else except for Sean. I don't hear the crowd. It's a very weird moment where then once I hear him say go or up, where it's almost like this rush back to reality. It's like you're going through this portal and it's this rush back to reality where the weight's moving, and all of a sudden you hear all this noise, but it's all distorted. It's really weird to describe. And then there's a point where you're at the top of the lift, you either hear a rack or you feel the hooks come and they hit the bar. And then it's just like the whole world explodes. And it's a very unique. And so I talk about like why I get excited, but like that moment is so addictive. But then there is that euphoria afterwards. Like, holy shit, I just did something that should have killed me and probably could have killed or really hurt everybody around me. And I just told gravity to go piss off.
Does that make the rest of life a little boring? I think about
sometimes
race car drivers, right? Like I love Indy cars. These guys go 240 miles an hour on a track. Like that sensation's got to be so incredibly high that
I'm like throwing my lawnmower around. Like it's fun. Like, so ultimate dad flex, right? It's like, you go outside, it's 7:30 and there's like 4 other dads around on the block and they're about to fire up their lawnmower. I pull it first time, it fires up, like ultimate dad flex. But it's like you're walking around, mowing lawn. I'm like, I'm just an average person, like just doing these things. Like I go to the pool with my kids. Like this is boring as hell, man. But it's like, but that's life. Like that's just there's ebbs and flows. And but back to the extreme mindset is there's a level where you have to just say, I'm not gonna let anything beat me today. Nothing's like it's not gonna be gravity. It's gonna be God themselves, whichever way you believe in that entity. That's the only thing that's gonna beat me today.
Yeah, just having that incredible self-belief.
Yeah.
The one thing I've noticed about not just extreme sport athletes, but just athletes in general, professional athletes, they have an incredible belief in themselves. Some are cocky about it, some are not. They're pretty humble about it. But either way you look at it, there's this belief that I'm going to win today. I'm
There
going to play
is.
well today. I'm going to do my best today, whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
And it's just an incredible mindset. What was it like for you when you started pushing yourself beyond your limits? Because I think of like, I'm in decent shape. I'm certainly not Robert Bain shape, but I'm in decent shape. I can do pull-ups and push-ups and things like that.
Round as a shape.
Round is a shape too. But like bench press, I could probably bench somewhere between 150 and 200 right now, and I literally don't even know what that number is. All right. So like at one point that was you. You were a soccer player. You're my size. You weren't a big guy. What was it like when you started pushing your limits, and how has that impacted, again, kind of like the way you look at your life and how you parent your kids, how you coach them, those types of things? Talk about pushing beyond your limits and what that was like every time you went just a little bit higher.
I didn't know this phrase growing up, but I believe I've subscribed to it probably since I was in my early teens, and that's moderation is for cowards. And that's a good or a bad thing.
Often on word on the street.
I do. And the reason I say that is because I truly believe that moderation is for cowards. And reason being is you can,
unless you're 40 and you're eating. Let's just say that's something, sometimes moderation is not bad.
I said what I said. Moderation is for cowards. But that can be good and bad, because I also could take that the same way with like drinking, or to your point, to eating. All those things could potentially be bad if you don't do the things necessary to counterbalance them. But yeah, so when I started pushing myself, it was all about like, I want to be big, strong, and fast. And it was almost like, I don't care what it's going to take. I did draw a line at some level. I think most can guess what that is. Because I was a college athlete, and we get tested and stuff. But I also didn't know any better. Like the guys that I trained with, these were all legitimate, like WWF, like alternates. Like they had tried out. I don't know if you remember MTV's show Tough Enough. Like it was like the reality show to get in. Yeah. So two of the guys that I trained with, my original training crew, were selected for that. And Travis actually made it onto the show. And so like, we're not going to make it relative to your strength. Like either you can hang with us or you can't. So I had to get extreme very, very fast. And so as I learned to push my body beyond what I thought it was capable of, I started to figure out that my mind is going to give out a lot faster than my body's going to. I'm going to perceive this limit way, way earlier than my body's actually going to go, no, we're done. We do that now. We do some breathing training that a good training partner of mine has kind of kicked to us, where you're going to bench one plate, 135 pounds for 25 reps in one breath. Take your breath, and it's just go, go, go. You get to about rep 17, and the lights are starting to get a little low. Like you're really starting to like, okay, like now my body, but you keep going, because you have people there that are going to catch that bar. And so you trust them once. So you talk about building community, like you build trust there, because you could die. But I'll tell you, you get to that 25th rep, you lock it out. You don't get to breathe until you rack the bar. So it's not like, oh, I'm done. No, it's all about like how you would compete with it. And so it's this extreme version of life that it's really interesting. But the more and more you do it, it's like, I can do 25. I watch Barzine. He can do 50 reps like that. I'm like, holy shit. Like to hold your breath that long is one thing, like, and then to do it while you're pushing, a small person, like it's wild. And so I learned very, very early, like I truly have no idea what the limit is. And as far as I understand, there isn't one.
So I want to end on this saying, your mind will perceive the limit well before your body will find the limit.
Correct. Your mind is going to give out way before your body does.
Your mind perceives the limit before your body reaches the limit. I think that's a phenomenal saying. If you think about that in everything, it's like Ed Milet's new book, The Power of One More. Like just do one more. See if you can do one more. Push yourself just a little bit further. Can you do one more? And man, I think we're gonna just finish on that, because we're at 30 minutes. But you got to come back and talk more. By the way, I hope you will. But
absolutely, man.
That mindset, like the mind will perceive. It's not reality. It's a perception. The mind will perceive the limit before the body will reach the limit. Man, that is so powerful, man. Like the power of our mind.
Dan Gable, very famous Hawkeye wrestling coach. He wanted to train until he blacked out. This is a man who won NCAA titles, Olympic gold medal, trained the best wrestlers in the world, He never did it. He never passed out during his training. That was something I adopted. I did not pass out in my training until I was in my 30s, and that's a whole different topic. But but yeah, that's, if you think of whether it's business, whether it's life, whether it's training, you think of things in that respect, your mind gives out way before your body does. Just keep going. Just keep going.
I heard somebody say recently that goals sometimes have that limiting effect on us, because sometimes we'll set a goal and then all we're really focused on is that goal, when potentially we could do way beyond that goal. I think about that with my business and like revenue and things like that. I'm like, what limiting beliefs am I putting on myself and my company? Because I'm just not seeing, I'm not seeing the infinite possibilities that are out there. And it, the mind is just so powerful. Like Coleman said, it's such a great point. You control the mind, you'd be surprised at what the body can do. And business, whatever you want to do in your life, I think the point remains. So
let me end on this.
Amazing. Go for it.
There's always, Tom Brady said it best. What's your favorite trophy? It's the next one. There always has to be another goal. Absolutely. I want to squat 1,000 pounds as an example. Absolutely. So loud. But there's always the next goal. Always another one. That's what keeps the mind strong. That's what keeps it going.
I had to get out of here with your music because it just felt like appropriate today that we give you a little more background music being here. Dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate you. Appreciate your friendship. Appreciate your support. Love the fact you're part of the Street Crew. I hope people come watch that on Friday as well. Coleman's part of the Street Crew as well. So glad he's in the group as well. But everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for engaging your comments. We appreciate that. And make sure you come back tomorrow for episode 80. We're going to talk to Cameron Robertson, the CEO and president of 3PL Systems. Such a cool dude, man. I can't wait to have him on the show as well to kind of talk about that. So it's going to be a phenomenal show tomorrow. But again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for supporting what we're doing. Thanks to our sponsor, Task, for supporting us as well. Go check them out. Click on the link that Morgan put in the comments. And we will see all of you guys back here tomorrow for another episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership powered by Beta Consulting Group. Peace. We'll see you guys later. Got to give you